Who says you can't? You do. Daniel Sidiok. Chapter 12. The Action Prelogue. Page number 132. Action. Mental, verbal, physical. Something I have noticed after speaking to many people about life is the most see their physical actions as having more effect than their mental and verbal ones. I am here to smash that belief and tell you that every thought you have and word you speak has just as much power in shaping your destiny. Most do not acknowledge that everything is outsourced from their thoughts. Thoughts causes words to come out of their mouth, and thoughts are the basis of all decision making. The balance is symmetrical, but our greatest downfall is not being aware of this. We are shaping our destiny through these three types of action, and we are continually shaping our nature and beliefs. If you got offered the mind of Bill Gates, will you take it? How about the dancing ability of Michael Jackson? Question mark. Or the golf swing of Tiger Woods? If the answer is yes, then why don't people set out to learn the traits and skills they desire? These professionals must have learned to become that great, right? Surely it was not easy. The reason most people refuse to believe they can be great is that they condition themselves to believe they are stuck with the actions they have always chosen. Furthermore, they create an illusion that their previous choices and experiences sum up who they are and what they are becoming. It does not matter where you came from, it matters only where you are going. Condoleezza Rice. Take a look at those individuals who seem to have had everything given to them on a silver platter and then end up in rehab, while others who have been through the most horrific experiences set out to make the biggest impact on the world. We are not stuck with our experiences, and they do not determine who we are. What happened does not dictate what's going to happen. A wise man once said, "Tomorrow does not equal yesterday." That said, we are and what we choose to do right now. We have an addiction to things that are worlds away from common sense, and that's why common sense does not seem all that common. Surprisingly, those people who use common sense are actually branded as uncommon these days. They are usually seen as crazy until they prove they are a cut above the rest. Are they special? No, they just used common sense. There are patterns that we think we must continue to be slaves to because we always have. That's a lie, as the choices we make right now ultimately shape who we are becoming. It seems that most of us have a clear indication of what we should do, but don't actually do it. This is why obtaining knowledge in life is not the same as learning. If you gain knowledge but don't put it into practice, to nothing being learned. I have had so many people say to me, "I know this stuff." My response is that knowing does not seem to be making a difference. You have to do it. They continue to act the same way, have the same experiences and the same emotions, and they are never fulfilled. A man twice my age once confronted me and said, "What have you learned about life? You are half my age." The reason this friend of a friend was so angry was that he had just found out his girlfriend cheated on him for the third time. I explained to him that it only took one similar experience for me to make my decisions. It seems he knows a lot about what he should do. But what has he learned by going back to a relationship that causes him so much pain? He has learned nothing. It does not matter whether you have had 10 experiences or one. The only time you can learn is by taking action. We must shift from thinking change is painful to thinking change is pleasurable. Basic methods of discipline might not seem to last long, but what does work is becoming addicted to something positive and new. You must exchange a disempowering addiction for an empowering alternative. Embracing this concept allows for a conscious shift and enforces real growth. It's not until we turn our knowledge into action that we achieve growth in our life. Only by this formula can you experience the never-ending cycle of self-growth. Personal growth formula. L is equal to K plus A. L is stand for learning, K for knowledge, A for action. Learning is equal to knowledge plus action. The battle. The battle has only ever been you against you. Most great things in life lie in simplicity. The trouble is we have made things so complicated that being simple itself is a challenge. We race around trying to figure out all these complex ways to gain fulfillment and success. But we have always had the qualities within us. The challenge is putting your knowledge into practice. As long as there is life, there will be challenges. Our character is not based on the absence of challenges, but on how well we handle ourselves in the face of them. I once had a conversation about life and change with a lady who inspired me to add this section, the battle, to the book. It's an essential section to take note of. As we were discussing all this stuff, I was full of energy and she said, "You make it sound so easy, just like other motivational speakers." I had to remind her that I was not a motivational speaker. It's one thing to be pumped up for an hour by hearing some inspiring words, but it's another thing to be pumped up for life. And that takes strategy. I educate, not just motivate. And there's a major difference. I educate people on how to motivate themselves because that's what I have done for myself. However, I thought about what she said for a second, and it reminded me how hard it was at times and how strong I had to remain. It was a battle in its truest form, but by being equipped with the appropriate strategies and solutions, I was not setting myself up to be defeated anymore. Change is a challenge. It's not a mere walk in the park. The great thing is that it's a simple equation. If you want change, you have to make change, or else nothing is going to change. We seem to be obvious to it, or in some cases, we do realize this, but we are scared to embrace it. We are scared that it might have the power to actually change our life forever. Even if it is in a positive way, we still seem to fear the unknown. In order to win any battle, you must be equipped with the most powerful arsenal. The battle of the mind is no exception. Life is about learning and growing, and it's not easy at times. Who you were is more than ready to battle who are trying to become. That self is not just going to give up without a fight. You have trained that self to fall into guilt or depression, along with the fear that you can't achieve. I'm sure you can help me out with the rest, but you have the power to rewire yourself. The way you physically, mentally, and verbally act must change if you want change. There is no other way through. I can only show you ways to get there and make your walk as comfortable as I possibly can. You have to go on the journey and walk your own path. I just want you to know that it is not all a bed of roses, so you can be prepared when a mental bubble or physical battle does come up. Don't think you are alone and submit to being a victim. Everyone who has been on this journey achieved great things or made massive change in their life has acknowledged that giving up would have been easier. Anyone who says that it was easy must be a Superman or woman. If someone makes you believe that suddenly their whole life turned around completely and everything they knew or thought changed instantly, they are taking you for a long ride. You may never get to your destination, and you may even crash pretty hard along the way. I have seen too many people left in the dark by misguided motivational speakers or authors who are out on their own selfish agenda. We must use our intelligence on this journey. Nothing in life that is great is easy. If it was easy, then it would not be great. We would not be able to tell the difference between living an ordinary life and an amazing life. Given that it's not easy, it's not going to be a breeze. It's important to acknowledge that it's not that hard either. I have come to realize that human beings do not like problems, but we thrive when challenged, and that's what reconditioning yourself to find your truth is. The gate to life is narrow, and the way that leads to it is hard, and there are few people who find it. Matthew 7:14. In order to overcome these challenges, especially the mental ones, we need to have an army always waiting at the entrance of our mind, not so much anticipating a challenge as always ready. Every time you take down thoughts or emotions that are preventing you from excelling in that moment, more recruits jump on the board. Before you know it, the army within is far more powerful than anything else. Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts. The Buddha. Think of this reconditioning process like that of a right-handed boxer who is preparing to lead with his left. The trainer's instructions are that he has to learn to lead with his left hand to win the fight. The boxer will get confused during sparring and be swept to his right numerous times, but now he knows what he has to do to win the fight. He stays conscious of it and quickly corrects himself until it becomes a part of his nature. Whenever your limiting side seems to be winning a mental battle, here is quick strategy to gain control again. Stop resisting. When you feel you are resisting your mind too much, just stop. Make peace with the situation and tell your limiting side, okay, you are here and I know what you are trying to do, but you will never win. Say it in a relaxed tone and nod your head as if you are certain about your comment. Think of a time when someone has tried to upset you, but you have assured them that their efforts are pointless. It's the same when you try to upset yourself. Your limiting thoughts will eventually pass by doing this. Write. Another point is write. You must write down how you feel. When you feel great, write it down. When you feel upset, write down how you can turn it around. You can always go back to when you felt great and read that again. As you are probably aware, the times that we have resistance building up within ourselves are the same times that everything seems to irritate us. It could be an issue we have with a friend, a partner, or a job. It's not until we get it off our chest that we feel free again. The same goes with resisting our thoughts. Get them out and write them down. Mental action. all in the wind. Men get rich by doing things in a certain way, and in order to do so, man must become able to think in a certain way. A man's way of doing things is the direct result of the way he thinks about things, whereas the battle. Once you become aware that every thought you have is shaping your destiny and recreating your reality, you have won half the battle. The best way to come to terms with this is to take a good look at the thoughts you are having. Notice the pattern with experiences you have had and continue to have. Check whether your thoughts are making you act in a certain way and attracting certain kinds of experiences. Once this is done, you will almost always see a pattern that can be broken. We are usually just reacting to our environment on automatic. We feel as though we have no real control over our experiences or how to think our thoughts. We are able to shift their direction to where we want to go. In order to live an outstanding life, we must capture the great thoughts and let the other ones pass. Everyone has the same thoughts flowing through them. Certain people just choose to capture certain ones. It is your choice to hold on to a thought that is disempowering, and it will also be up to you whether you let it flow out of you the same way it came in. You don't need to hold on to them. Relate every experience you have to benefit the bigger picture you have set for your life. Human beings have approximately 60,000 thoughts a day. How many of those are you using to create the life you want? As you would probably agree, it seems difficult to change the thoughts that you normally have subconsciously. We have repeated these thoughts so many times that we have them with no real conscious thought process. The only way to truly rewire your subconscious mind, which is crucial for success, is to look at the fact that every one of your thoughts is heavy on your life. The reason why humans like analogies and stories so much is that we love looking at things from an outside perspective, then relating that to our own experiences. When we look at your thoughts from an outside perspective, you find a clearer way to relate to them. In order to have an extraordinary life, you must stay conscious of everything you do. Breaking the unconscious pattern of disempowering thoughts and getting off that wheel that brings you unhappiness requires you to look at the cause and effect of every thought you have. If you need a refresher on how every thought physically changes your state, go back to the discussion of neuroplasticity in our first step, page 52. Also use this question for your thoughts. Is what I am choosing to think about now productive toward what I want? I have explained this throughout the book, but I have given you another detailed example. Let's say someone cuts you off while driving and you react with anger, as most do. It is going to affect what you create next in your life, as the energy of that anger will flow on to whatever activities follows. Most important, it builds the belief that when a challenge comes up, the option is to get angry and not be productive toward your growth. On the other hand, you could react but instantly correct yourself because you now see the detrimental effect your thoughts are having on your life. I am not saying you won't react at all, but by being aware of your thoughts, you are ready to turn them around. If a challenging situation arises, this allows you to take a different approach and build on productive thoughts. Monitor your thoughts throughout your day and correct yourself or counterthink. Sometimes it's a battle because you have been used to looking at something in a particular way, but you must look for another avenue that will benefit you. It's not hard to see that every day your thoughts create your life. A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. Mahatma Gandhi. The commitment to do this is one that is made by every successful person. If their thoughts are not monitored and continually corrected toward that what they want, they will never get it. It comes naturally to some, so a lot of time they might not even realize they are doing it until questioned deeply on the topic. For others like me, it is something we learn to do. I just knew I was sick of feeling the way I did. So I decided to take mental action. It was not until I discovered that my thought patterns created my emotions that I was able to take control of my life. I did this to turn my whole life around. And surprisingly, it did not take long at all. It's actually quite amazing how much you learn and grow by monitoring your thoughts for 1 week. You should also challenge yourself to think big during the day. To reach our peak, we must think about the bigger picture. If all you think about is small achievements, then that's all you will ever get. When you stay open to thinking big, the rest in between does not seem overwhelming, because you are keeping your eyes on that prize. I remember sitting down in my bedroom only a year and a half before my book was finished. I had written 1 page and I had no clients at the time, but I knew what I wanted. I asked myself, Daniel, how on earth are you going to write a whole book? Every time I would begin to stress over the number of pages or begin to think about not being able to put my ideas on paper, I would fight it. I mean, I had never written anything in my life besides a few literature projects at school that I had completely forgotten about. I would block out the negative thoughts, which, with as much power as I had, I continued to reassure myself that it was going to happen. I would envision myself opening up the finished product, and only a few months later I created it. The ideas and words of the book just flowed. I would meet people who were in search of coaching, and I began attracting all the things I had remained focused on. Realistically, there is only one way to change your life. Change the way you think. Thinking about the end result also has a funny way of cutting time. Even the smaller steps are achieved at a much faster pace. After a week or two of staying focused on the bigger picture, you will notice the massive growth spurt that was available to you your whole life. When you think on a large scale, ideas will flow to and from that direction. Even if you learn something that you think is small about the new direction you are heading, write down that progress. Turn the imaginary thought into concrete form by making it as real as you can. Any growth or idea, big or small, don't miss it or let it slip. And soon enough they will be flowing on a regular basis. To strengthen and expand our mind, we must invest in it. You must read books, listen to audio tapes or CDs, go to seminars, and most important, guide your thoughts successfully. Individuals who have had an influence on my growth and to whom I pay homage are Ralph Waldo Emerson, Napoleon Hill, Khalil Gibran, Ballas D. Wallace, Maya Angelou, Deepak Chopra, and Mahatma Gandhi. These people are just some of the giants who have made the world better. Learning from extraordinary people is a great way to invest in your development. Investing in yourself is like investing in the greatest shares. The more you invest, the greater the dividend. By feeding your mind the right information, you strengthen its ability to create a great life. I am no longer cursed by poverty because I took possession of my own mind, and that mind has yielded me every material thing I want and much more than I need. But this power of mind is a universal one, available to the humblest person, and it is to the greatest. Andrew Carnegie. Verbal action. What you say is what you are. Great pupils talk about ideas. Average pupil about things. Small pupil talk about other pupils. Tobias S. Gibson. Kids say the darnedest things, don't they? When I was child, there was a particular retort we would fling at other kids after they said a judgmental slur. What you say is what you are. I did not realize how much truth that had until recently. People have no idea of the giant impact their choices of vocabulary has on their lives. The words we commit to shape and condition we are just as much as our thoughts and physical actions. It does not matter in what context or subject, as long as you use words that have limitations. You are limiting your state and hence your success. A quick example is when we use the word can't in every conversation. Take a second to ponder this, and you will realize that nearly every time you say the word can't, it is untrue. You do have a choice. It's not so much that you can't do something, it's that you don't want to. The more you say you can't do things, the more your mind conditions that no condition notion, and it will appear every time a challenge comes up. Thank you very much for listening. Have a nice day. This is page number 1.